How's everybody doing? It's time to take some calls. I'm going to go ahead and launch the voice so we can see if we have any voicemails today to start with. This is going to be a little bit of a different show. Phone number's there at the bottom. Just got off a show with Seth Andrews, the most badass atheist on the planet. And I don't know if you see what the fuck I'm wearing. This is vintage. This is a vintage Adidas running suit. Okay, you can't buy this shit. All right? You can't even buy this. You gave me the same name.
You been knowing what's going on, no doubt.
Yeah.
You've just been pranked by prankdial.com.
Oh, that's pretty good. Prankdial.com. Prankdial.com. It's pretty good. So I guess it just mirrors. Save that one for my. In the meantime, I missed a phone call. With no transcription. Oh. Hello?
Yeah, I have a question for you. How do you justify atheism, given that atheism is a universal negative, but in a not God world, how would you be able to establish any universals?
So, like, are you saying like universal truths?
No, atheism is a universal negative. It's either an explicit or an implicit denial of God, which is a universal negative.
Okay.
So how in a not God world could you instantiate any universal?
So give me an example of a universal.
God.
Okay. So without God, how do I substantiate God?
Yeah, not God would be a universal. God is a universal. Not God is a universal. They're both universal negatives. So not God in a not God world, which is either an explicit or implicit denial of God, that's a universal negative. So how in a not God world would you be able to sustain and establish that there are any universals at all?
So you keep saying universals, like there would be no universals.
How would you be able to instantiate any universals, including the universal negative of not God?
Okay, so you're saying that that's circular.
No, it's a question. God or not God are both universal negatives. Are you aware of that?
So you're saying God or not God are universal negatives.
They are both positive universals and universal negatives, depending on how you look at it. If I say the dog is running in the backyard, that is simultaneous. It's not only a positive statement, but it's also a negation of its denial. Okay? Every positive statement is a negation of its denial. So both God and not God, as respective worldviews, are universal negatives. So
well, one's a positive and one's a negative.
Would you be able to establish? No, they're both universal negatives.
So there is a God as a negative?
Yes. When we assert the universal of God existing, it would be negating the not God world. In other words, that all facts are unrelated to God.
All right, I'm with you.
I'm still waiting for an answer to the question.
Well, I was making sure I understood the question.
Do you have an answer?
Well, ask the question again so I can clarify just to make sure we're on the same page.
Atheism is a universal negative in a not God world.
So atheism is a universal negative, saying that there is no God.
It's either explicit or implicit.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, you can indirectly deny God while explicitly saying you're not. So, for example, if you invoke that there are facts that exist ontologically and possess intelligibility without the necessity of referencing God, that's an implicit denial of God.
Okay.
So atheism is either an explicit or an implicit denial of God. Either way, atheism is a universal negative.
Okay.
I take it you're an atheist, right?
Well, I currently I don't believe in a God. I don't know if one exists or not.
Okay, no. Well, here's the problem you're not understanding. Okay, if you are unwilling to acknowledge the necessity of referencing the necessity of God for facts, then that is an indirect denial of God, in spite of the fact that you're claiming not to explicitly deny God.
Well, what if
So-
I were to ask you, like, what do you feel about speed of light travel?
Okay, that's a category error.
No. I'm just wondering what you personally believe. Is that possible or not possible?
Okay, that's a category error. The speed of light is a temporal notion and not in the category of a transcendental
Yeah, but do you
necessity.
believe that it's possible
Okay, would
to
you
travel?
not overtalk me, please?
Well, no, but
that's
do you know?
not the issue.
But
I'm trying to explain to you. But
do you not know how
that
to
question is a category error.
But I'm
Okay,
not
the
saying that
speed
there
of
is or
light-
isn't
listen,
a God.
I'm trying to answer you. Yes, you are. You're doing so indirectly. Let me ask you this question. When you invoke facts, okay? When you invoke facts, are you willing to reference the necessity of God as the precondition of facts? Or do you invoke facts as simply existing, ontologically existing, and intelligible without reference to God?
Well, I don't know what you mean, like a fact, like the Earth is round.
When we invoke facts,
Like the Earth is round.
will either any fact at all.
Well, that's the example I'm
When
using.
we invoke a fact, okay, fine. Whatever fact you invoke, it will either reference the necessity of referencing the necessity of God as the precondition of all facts, or your facts will be invoked by choice without referencing the necessity of God. So, are you willing right now to acknowledge the necessity of referencing God as the precondition of facts?
So we only get two options?
There's only two options.
Well, why are there only
Either
two
you're
options?
willing, why? Because it's either you're willing or you're unwilling to reference the necessity of God when invoking facts.
What if I'm unable?
No, you are able because you're a conscious person right now.
Well, how do you know
You're
that?
Willing. Okay. Yeah. Really? Are we going to play this game?
Well, I was
You
just,
have
I
an
mean, I
atheist-
just don't
You
know.
have an atheist call-in show, and you're going to play this game.
It's not an atheist call-in
Okay?
show.
I'm at. It's not atheist. It's not an atheist troll show on YouTube.
Are you an atheist?
No,
Then-
I'm not.
Well, then how is it an atheist call-in show if atheists aren't calling in?
Okay, are you an atheist?
I don't believe in a
Okay,
God,
so
and
now
some
we-
people
so now-
call
so-
me
so-
atheist.
Now you're diverting from the question. So let's get back to my question.
Okay, let's get back to the question.
You want to maintain that you don't have a positive belief in God, that you're neutral. This is
I
a
don't know.
philosophical fallacy. I didn't ask you if you know.
Well, I'm just
Okay?
saying I don't
now,
know.
Are you willing, when you invoke facts, to reference the necessity of God for precondition? I'm asking you, are you willing?
Am I willing to precept God?
No. Are you willing to acknowledge the necessity of referencing God as the transcendental precondition?
I don't think that I'm able to understand your argument.
Okay. Are you willing to acknowledge or affirm that God is the necessary precondition of all temporal facts? Are you willing to affirm that?
I don't know that he's the necessary How would I know he's the necessary
I didn't
precondition?
ask you what you knew.
I have to know. How can I answer a question if I don't know the answer?
Are you willing to reference God as the necessary precondition of facts, or do you invoke facts without referencing God?
I would say no to the first part of your question.
Okay, so you're unwilling to reference the
Unable.
necessity of God as the precondition?
Unable.
You're not. Why are you unable?
Because I don't understand the question.
Okay, so if you don't understand the question, how can you answer it?
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say, but you keep trying to force me into an answer.
See now what you're doing is you're playing head games because you're uncomfortable with the question. Now,
No, I said I've been very clear. I've been very clear at trying to understand the question. I mean, maybe you're just bad at explaining it.
When you invoke facts, are they by choice without referencing God?
So when you say invoke a fact, could you give me an example of invoking a fact?
Yeah, if you say the sky is blue,
Okay.
do you reference God as the necessary precondition when you say the sky is blue?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Can you invoke the actuality and intelligibility of the sky being blue without referencing God.
Like, yeah, the sky is blue.
Okay, so what you're saying then is facts can be invoked as actual and intelligible without the necessity of referencing God.
Okay, that's your claim.
Your position, right?
That's your claim.
No,
sure.
no, I didn't make a claim. I'm asking you is that your position? See, I'm asking you very legitimate, circumspect questions, and you're being very evasive on your own show. Now, when you assert that the sky is blue,
Yes.
do you assert that by choice with or without reference to God?
I assert it by looking at the sky and thinking that it's blue.
You're not answering the question.
Well, I don't understand what the question is. You want a yes or no? I'm explaining it. Take it as yes or no.
When you assert the sky is blue, do you reference God explicitly or implicitly?
Do I reference God implicitly or explicitly? I don't reference God at all.
Okay, so you've answered the question. So when you assert the sky is blue, that proposition is asserted as actual by choice without referencing God. Are we clear?
Okay.
Now, in a God world, there can't be any facts that do not reference God.
Okay.
All right? And in a not God world, there cannot be any facts that reference God.
Well, how is there a not God world?
A not God world is one where you do not reference God.
Does that exist?
No, if not from my perspective, it doesn't. But you see, in your position, you see, you want to maintain, as contemporary atheists do, that you are neutral. Well, you're not neutral because you just admitted that when you invoke the sky is blue, that you by choice do not reference God as the precondition. Do you remember when you agreed to that?
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily saying that there is no God.
It's do you remember did you agree to that?
Well, you kind of agreed on it for me. I just gave you my answer, and you said,
okay,
"Well, that means this."
When you assert the sky is blue, do you by choice invoke that proposition without referencing God?
What if I do it and I just don't know?
Do you reference God when you assert the sky is blue?
So how do I have to say like the sky is blue, I love God? Is that how you do it with God?
When you assert as an atheist the sky is blue, do you by choice
how do you assert the sky is blue?
God. Okay, I'll be glad to answer that question, but you have a call-in show where you're taking questions, and I'm asking you a question about your atheism. Now, if you're incapable of answering this question intelligently when you're doing a YouTube stream, you're trying to turn the tables on me by asking me about my position.
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Not relevant.
Sometimes I need help understanding, and that's the best way I can understand.
Not relevant. Are you listening here? You see, you're over talking me. My position
you talk
at
a lot.
This moment, okay, I'm talking just as much as you are, but you're the one who keeps on sounding very confused.
Yeah, I am confused. You're confusing me. I'm very confused. Hello? 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 Did you hang up? What's going on? Okay, well, I guess he's done. What's going on? I'm just trying to understand the question. We got to get universal understanding of the terms of the question before you start asserting that I agree to things. I don't know how you assert the sky is blue as an atheist versus asserting the sky is blue as a Christian. Oh, there it goes. Maybe he lost connection. I don't know. Oh, God, I farted. I don't know what the necessary precondition. Hello?
Is this Pizza Hut?
Yes, pizza. Yeah, you can go ahead with your order.
Oh, can I get a large pepperoni pizza and a medium meat lovers, please?
Yeah, sure. Now we got a 2-for-1 on the liter of cola. You want a liter?
Oh, can you make that too?
Okay, and we're taking donations for the local church that caught fire.